Hey guys, this is Cruise Roy with the Flywing FW450. You'll notice the arm is disconnected on this rotor head. I was looking online, I'm on a lot of forums. We talk about the big helis, gassers, and all this stuff. I'm also intrigued with these Flywings because of the GPS, and the H1 happens to be on this Goblin. Amazing idea. The helicopters do not fly anything like a real helicopter. If I take this off and I put a GY750 on it, it's going to fly totally different than a GPS model. So good idea, getting people that never flown into the hobby. Like I always said, it's not a bad idea. Some people will tell you it's a real bad idea because it's dangerous. You're relying on a computer to fly for you, to stabilize the bird. Even the new fly barless controllers are 6 gyro axis, so they can stabilize themselves pretty good, and they do have bailout. But anyways, I'm on the forums and I noticed that quick head that Flywing's doing. I just want to talk about it just for a little bit, my opinion. I watched some videos, and it's the greatest thing since pancakes. Let me draw her in here. So kudos to Flywing. I mean, the GMP Cricket was one of the first helicopters to ever reach the American public, and they would have never ever thought of this. Never ever thought of this. Is it a good idea? Is it a bad idea? I'm gonna stick with what I know with the older helis. What I noticed on this, I think these bigger helis, you would never see this. Never in my lifetime. They gotta do something better than this, because there is some drag slop, and somebody was saying, oh, that's okay, the flex in the head when you got the blade on here. Technically not really. The root collapse, I haven't even put a blade in here, but this is solid aluminum, and it's a 5mm root. Yeah, I'm hoping when you tug down on this nut, you're getting a little tension on your blades. But the biggest thing, I mean, great idea. I'm not going to say anything bad about it. It's up to you if you want to use this thing. Number one, it widens your stance on the head, the rotor head, so your blades, if they're 450 size, let's say they're supposed to be I think the Flywing is what, 460 or they're 385, I think. Yeah, I think I'm right on that. So now you add another inch to the diameter, getting closer to the tail now, which, that's fine. There's a draft happening on your roto head, and when you start blowing it towards the tail, you get a different reaction from the tail, and this is a motor drive tail, blah, blah, blah. I can get all kind of technical all I want. But the reason I disconnected the head on my 450 right now is I want to show you something. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm going to turn this. But I know the blade grip does not turn 180 degrees like this, but you feel no tension, no retention, and no skips. And I mean, these are pretty basic. They just have ball bearings in them. These bigger guys, they have thrust bearings. There is more parts in that SAB head than there is in this whole helicopter. Another good idea. Keep it simple. Parts ain't cheap though. If you're new into this, you pay about $600 for this guy ready to fly, and you're paying $50 for a rotor head. You can't get the ESCs right now are $50-$60 if you can find one. You know what I mean? So it can get expensive, but that's helicopters in general. That's not Flywing's problem. That's just helicopters in general. But anyways, let me push that aside. Nice and smooth, just like, and even if I show you the SAB, and it's still hooked up to the servos, they move nice and smooth, unless you drop a servo like that. There's no lockup, but they have thrust bearings in here and standard bearings. But when you come to the Flywing, I don't know. I haven't opened this up. I don't have time. When I do have time, I'm going to pull this apart. Am I going to put it on the 450? No. No. And this is why. I want someone to comment on this video. Does yours do the same thing? Because this ain't right. It's just not right. This is putting a lot of, now watch, when I move the rotor head, and I know you're only moving, it looks like you're only moving a degree, but this rotor head should not, see that pressure I got to put on that? Now watch when I come back. It literally clicks into place. You don't hear a click, you hear a thump, but it's not, it's like the thrust bearing has a broken ball in there. It shouldn't be doing this. Because number one, the servos you're using in the Flywing, and no one's going to argue with me, they're $15.99 a piece. The servos I have in this Goblin are $2.60 a piece. These are $15 a piece, and you're putting that extra pressure. And look at it, it just clicks, it locks into place. Is that meant on purpose? So when you hit center stick, it aligns right up in the center stick? I don't think so. But I would like to tear this. I see the feather and shaft in there. Good job by lightening up the head. I mean, they kind of cut out the roto head so you can kind of see the feather and shaft. And it does look like when you spin these guys off, you look in there and there is a capsized Allen, it looks like, on both sides. So I will, when I get a chance, and follow up on you. Please comment if you've played with this head, because any full-time real heli flyer that flies the big birds would tell you this doesn't feel right. Doesn't feel right. I don't know what's going on in there. I know they have a dampener in here, so they have a dampener and then probably 2 ball bearings maybe, and that's it. But it shouldn't do that. A ball bearing should not have a flat spot. And what's weird, it's doing it on this side. So the engineers at Flywing must know something I don't know, because that's not what it's supposed to feel like. Because I've had accidents with helis and I'm like, ah, crap, I broke my feather. Look, it even does it all 4 corners. Does it over here, does it there, and does it here. So if I had this head and it was on a Trax or a SAB, I'd say, oh, screw it, I screwed up a bunch of thrust bearings. Get them out of there, replace them. I don't know what's in this head. Like I said, I need to take it apart. But this is how I feel about this thing. Supposedly it's brand new, it was never used. I got a little damage from shipping because it's shipped in a bag. So this arm has a little crease in it. I'm going to sand that out. I mean, helicopters are supposed to be fine machines. If there's any imbalance, these helicopters shake all over the place. And when it comes to me, I bought this crashed. All right, this is the other thing I want to talk about. Nobody talks about these helis as a crash. I know there's a guy out there, he's flying these things all over the place. I think he gets a brand new one every 2 hours or something, you know, laugh out loud. But I don't see anybody crashing these things and telling me they put it together without issue. You have a computer in here. Any damage to that, it's a fly-by-wire controller. The fly-by-wire controller in my big one is expensive. This one here, I think you can pick them up now for $129. It's the H1. This is the H1 Lite, so it's probably even cheaper. So first problems, like I did, I built my own cord for the GPS, built my own mount for the GPS, you know, built a battery cage that covers the gears so it doesn't accidentally burn through a lipo in flight and burn up. So they have their bugs. Great idea, Flywing. You got people I never knew that didn't know how to fly a helicopter. They can fly one out of the box. Bad thing with out of the box is when you get this guy here or any bigger heli, you're building this thing in kit form. You know what skids are. You know what millimeter your nuts are. You know what a flybar is. You know what a swash plate is. You know what a swash leveler is. You know what a tail motor is. You know what the pitch means. You know all of that. But when you take a heli and pop it out of the box and fly it around, it's like going to Walmart, picking yourself up a little toy and flying around. But the day it crashes, you're wondering, what's this, what's that? But they're very innovative. You know, this head if it works the way they say. I know somebody's flying around. I don't even want to mention names. I'm starting to boycott someone because they're all about the money and selling stuff. You know, you got the nice hatch here that if you got arthritis like me, it's a pain in the ass to open, but it's a good idea. But yet you can't get the battery out on a flat surface. You got to tip it over the edge. You know what I mean? So, good idea. They just missed the spot. I design things every now and then, and there's things I could have changed. You know, like this. Whoever I bought this from, they drilled a hole to see the light. I ordered some 1/2-inch acrylic rod. Gonna put it there. I noticed a guy on the forum. Nice, it lights up. You can see everything. The way this is, you're trying to read what color light the controller is, so another bad idea. I don't care what anybody says. They should have made the light up here so you could see it visible. So ESC cooling problems. This girl does not have the V3 ESC. It has a 2.5 ESC, so I can only run a 4-cell. This thing flies fine enough with a 4-cell. You're not going to become Ashlamei, or I forgot the other guy's name. I got his servos, BK. These guys fly like nuts. You're not going to do that with this. I'm sorry. You're not going to do it. You can flip the switches and do some magic tricks, but the biggest thing is I want anybody to tell me, you know, leave some comments. Have you crashed? And, you know, let Flywing know what's happening when you crash, when you set it up. Why doesn't it work? Why doesn't it do this? Why doesn't it do that? There's a big difference between a kit form heli and a heli you pull out of a box. They seem to be more difficult to get right. I mean, I missed a few steps on this myself. I've been doing this for years, and when I had the shake, I didn't realize that when you swap servos out, you're 10 degrees off on the flybar. You know, so you got to fix that in the software. You don't do that with the other types of flybarless controllers. You get the servos right where they need to be. In fact, these arms are adjustable on SABs and Aligns. You literally put a little rod and adjust them till you get them where you want. Get the servos where they're supposed to be, and that's it. This one here, you get them close, and the flybarless controller takes over, and da-da-da-da. But anyways, that's enough of my rambling. Oh, something else came in. I saw the cool mod with someone in a little minifan. I'm not sure I'm going to do it with this ESC. I have another idea for building my own ESC, and I might put it on that. But I got to 3D print a couple of boxes and make it happen. I think Flywing, you need to get away. Supposedly, from what I hear, in the end of June, they're coming out with a new ESC, new improved, blah, 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 blah. And so we'll see. But I think they had the right idea on the version 1. I know people don't remember, but the version 1 had 2 ESCs. It had one for the main motor and one for the tail motor. Blade Helicopters has been doing that for 50 years. 2 separate ESCs. And it keeps the heat away from one and the other. In fact, the Blade's tail ESC used to be on the side of the heli down here and the main motor up here. And they were just basic ESCs. And they do the same thing this helicopter can do. There's nothing, when it comes to one of these big boys, you know, you want like, you know, a 10,000 amp ESC. This one has a 200. And it's overkill, but it's a 500. But I'm not worried about it burning and catching on fire in the sky, because this one is costly to break. But anyways, besides all my rambling, this is Cruise Roy with the quick release head. I am not trying this thing yet, and I know I got people that would want to see me flying it, but I want to tear it apart. I want to see what that ratcheting problem is in here. And like I said, make a comment. Tell me what this ratchet is. Let me know. Let me know if you've had this thing apart. Most people would never take this apart. They just slap it on the 450, fly around, and go, oh my God, it's awesome! I can take the blades off in 3 seconds, and there I am, I throw it in a package, I'm good. Okay, all well and good. Enough rambling. It's been a long week. This is Cruise Roy. I hope this helps someone out. And I'm out of here.